athletes. So in the past, I've talked about tracking your workouts. If you're an individual athlete, you're setting up your own workouts. Maybe you're using one of the ones that we provide for you, or you bought one. And then you're tracking your workouts so that you can always look back and say, hey, I know from 3 months ago I've gotten better, and here's why I have proof. Not all of you do your own workouts. A lot of you go to classes, okay? How do you track a workout in a class that's always changing, Josh, right? We never do the same workout twice, let alone do the same Monday workout for 6 weeks in a row and then finally change Monday's workout. We don't have that potential. How do I know if I'm actually getting stronger? Here's my recommendation. Okay, so we've talked about the basic 6 exercises. One for your hip, one that's for knee control or quadriceps. So let's say for your hip, it's a deadlift, and we're talking a squat. We have your horizontal push, your vertical push, your vertical pull, and your horizontal pull, right? Those 6 basic exercises. So my advice to you is pick one exercise for each of those 6, okay? So maybe for your hip, maybe you don't do deadlifts in your class. Maybe you do kettlebell swings though, okay? Maybe you track your kettlebell swings. Anytime that you see a kettlebell swing in your class, you're gonna figure out, okay, so today we're doing kettlebell swings for 20 seconds. Last time I did it for 20 seconds, I used this much weight. I'm gonna see if I can add more weight. That's one way. Or you track just weight in general, okay? If you're able to max out, so let's say your gym only has a 70-pound kettlebell and you can swing that thing all day. Maybe it's time to make it a little tougher by maybe adding range of motion, okay? There's a way to not only track, but to get better at your hip exercise. Maybe you're gonna do a 1-arm kettlebell swing, or maybe it's time, and you first of all have to ask your coach, maybe it's time instead of having 1 kettlebell, that you use 2 lighter kettlebells, okay? So, having a 70-pound kettlebell, right, in 2 hands and swinging it. Great. That might make it hard for a while and then it gets easy. Maybe your coach will allow you to have a 40 in one hand and a 40 in the other for a total of 80. And you can kettlebell swing 2 kettlebells, okay? Now, at some point, if you're using 2 kettlebells, you don't want to put an 80 in one hand and an 80 in the other, super wide stance because they're huge, right? Okay, Josh, I've maxed out. I've maxed out 2-handed kettlebell swings. I've maxed out my ability to deal with 2 kettlebells. Now what? Again, if your coach is cool with it, you can advance the exercise. Maybe you end up doing a kettlebell clean, okay? So anytime you see kettlebell swing, you're gonna advance it to kettlebell clean. Again, assuming your coach is okay with this, okay? If your coach is okay with you progressing the exercise, great. Maybe you go to kettlebell clean and a single kettlebell clean. Well, at some point, more weight isn't gonna make it any better. Maybe you do a double kettlebell clean. Okay, once that gets easy. Maybe you're doing a kettlebell snatch, whatever. Progress the exercise itself. But again, you're tracking. Anytime I see kettlebell swing, I'm either gonna use this much weight, maybe I'm gonna use 2 kettlebells, or I'm gonna increase the range of motion, or maybe it's time to change the exercise. So every time I see a kettlebell swing, I'm gonna change it to kettlebell clean, or whatever, okay? Same goes for a squat. Maybe you normally have 1 kettlebell, now it's time for 2. Maybe now it's time to put it in a different position. Maybe it's time to put it on one side, or once you've maxed that out, maybe it's time to start adding in jumps or whatever. That's if you're using squats for your quadricep movement. Maybe you're talking lunges or whatever. Just pick one exercise that you know comes back a bunch of times. If you're doing push-ups, shoulder presses, pull-ups, whatever. Pick one exercise for those 6 ranges of motion, and then decide, how do I continue to progress this one? Then you're not trying to track 10,000 exercises. You're really only tracking 6, okay? And then you can say, hey, I went from being able to do a kettlebell swing with 70 pounds for 30 seconds. Now I'm doing a kettlebell clean with 70 pounds for 30 seconds, and it kills me. Perfect. Now we know you're progressing. Now we know you're getting better. But again, always make sure it's cool with your coach. And if you're training with me, it's totally cool, and I can even show you better ways to progress.